Stephen A. Smith has not proven himself. He is not worthy of your time to absorb his political takes. And just because he has the platform doesn't mean it has to be absorbed. That's where I draw the line when it comes to Stephen A. Smith.
For you to have the audacity, for you to think that forehead, any mouth attached to that forehead has the ability to say anything negative about our lovely Jasmine Crockett, the audacity, the pure unmitigated gall for this, and I have a huge cranium for a forehead, and for him to have the pure gall, like look at this man, look at this. Look.
Share the screen real quick, bro. Share the screen.
My gosh, like, bro, like, this man just, he makes that part of the back part of my eye itch.
Smith doesn't understand, or he has yet to comprehend, how his statement towards Crockett is misogynist. Yo, welcome back. This is the Porchlight Theory, episode 15. Here we have unfiltered conversations, but sometimes it is necessary. The coolest brother, Nick, is in the virtual room with me. Nick, how's it been, bro?
Man, I'm good, my brother. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. We took like a week break, and it was nice just taking a moment to just breathe a little bit. But 15 episodes in, I think we're at a good place right now, and I like where we're going.
I think so too. It's good progress, I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I've gotten some compliments about the pod. Talked to a couple of my, fraternity brothers. I was at homecoming at not so long ago, and they were telling me how they enjoy the conversations that we have, and I even got one of my peers to send me a message about the pod. Let me read it to you real quick. You guys are making great content. I look forward to future conversations. I would listen to your most recent episode. I thought it was very funny, but also really empathetic chat. Great episode. She's talking about episode 14 when she sent me that comment. And so I think we're doing something good, in my opinion.
I think so too. I definitely can agree. And thank you all for the support and any type of, feedback that you can provide, because it definitely is heard and felt, and it's appreciated for sure.
For sure. And while you're at it, go ahead and share, review, and subscribe. You can listen to this on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube. But show some love, rate, review, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. We just want more people to just see, what we bring to the table. Speaking of bringing to the table, there is one sports figure that has been, taking up some social media space lately, and he has a lot of people talking.
Is he really even just a sports figure anymore at this point? Is he trying to become a monolith to a certain extent?
Oh, we can definitely get into it. Most certainly. We're talking about Stephen A. Smith, and for viewers and listeners who've been paying attention to us, Nick is I would say he is a strong critic of Stephen A. Smith. I think that's the polite way of putting it.
I can't stand that man. I genuinely cannot stand that man. Like, he makes solid points at times, but to the extent, to the degree in which he is willing to have some very bad takes, and I'm not just talking about his sports takes, but since he's stepping into the realm of politics and pop culture and all that now, you're starting to get more of an idea of who he is, which, not saying he's inherently a bad man, but I do believe that he's doing more of a disservice to our community than he's helping it right now.
Before I start my yap session about Stephen A. Smith, I do want to at least offer the man some flowers. First and foremost, I do want to at least acknowledge, what he has done before we jump into a critique. So Stephen A. Smith, he is a broadcasting media giant, and there's no doubt about that. He's worked hard to get the position that he's in. He said it himself, he has come from the gutter. He has worked to from print media, from a newspaper, all the way to broadcast media, and his influence, his platform, and his ability to be consistent speaks for itself. And his foundation is sports. So his foundation is sports journalism. He's an expert at that. Now, this is where I get into the critique about Stephen A. Smith, because he is dipping into territory that's unknown to him. I mean, I wasn't tripping when I saw him, doing side quests such as being an actor on on soap operas. I think it's General Hospital. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly I think that's pretty cool. But now you're taking your debate expertise and you're trying to apply it to politics. And there are times I think he's in above his head.
I would agree. And I would say he is a former elite sports journalist, but to the extent that he does true journalism to this point, I don't believe that it is reflected in his work, because a lot of it, I know we don't really talk sports on here, but if you know me, that sports is kind of my thing, but his takes have become a lot more disingenuous, I want to say, because I think he's even told on himself to a certain extent in some of his episodes where they've said, like, hey, it's become more about the theater as opposed to, the content in a sense. It's literally his first take. His show that really, made him famous was First Take. And it slowly descended into a show that just wanted to one up the idea of what's the hottest take we can get out there. What can we go back and forth about? And I personally think that First Take did some irreparable damage to sports discourse and how we talk about it and how sports fans perceive the sport and how to engage with it from a certain standpoint. But that's a different topic for a different day.
I was just going to ask you, do you want to dive into that real quick before we go on our tangent about Stephen A?
I mean, we can. I will always say this. ESPN had a hard pivot in the 2010s where it really dove into more, like I said, hot takes. I remember being in grade school and waking up when we finally got cable to see right before leaving for school what came on Sports Center, to see the top 10, see the ticker about all the news and all that going on. Like, that was something we looked forward to. It had all these people on there that you love, like the Stu Scotts of the world and so many others, like the Chris Broussard and all the other ones, Rob Parker, before they got rid of him because he had those comments about Robert Griffin. That was actually one of the most hilarious. They have some iconic moments. ESPN was the quintessential, if you want to intake sports, this is where you want to be. Like, it cultivated a culture that so many young people that love sports. It was, if you were in Western culture, ESPN really cultivated how you viewed sports in a way, because it used to be it had people that had differing takes and wild takes to a certain extent, but it seemed more organic and genuine at that time. And then once you started seeing how First Take started skyrocketing, they wanted to basically make every show kind of like First Take, but you had certain shows like Pardon the Interruption and Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon shows, the ones that stay there and, they're consistently there who they are. But you start losing the Dan Le Batard shows of the world and so many other figures like Bomani Jones, Pablo Torre, and so many others that have left. You no longer have those nostalgic people that, like, even Colin Cowherd's left. Now he's on Fox Sports, and same thing with Skip Bayless. He left. So it's no longer what it used to be. And now what they've done, especially since there's a generation that was told growing up, like, hey, ESPN, that's where you gotta really get your sports from, especially since cable became so broadly, it's in everyone's house and all that. So that's how you would genuinely watch it. There's a whole generation of young people and also people in our generation that, because of the narrative, it became all about narratives. It didn't become more about analyzing the sport, which I can understand. Narratives and entertainment, that's what it's divulged into at this point. But I can definitely see how it's done damage to the sports discourse, because when you want to have those genuine conversations about a sports topic, the average everyday fan isn't going to be able to engage in stuff like that outside of, oh, well, who's the GOAT? Oh, well, who's really top five? Who's got a bag and stuff like that. It's dumbed down the idea of what's real sports discourse, in my opinion.
You know, there was a time when critics would say this channel is losing ratings or they're doing poorly in viewership and whatnot. And I want to ask you this, given the fact that I've had some broadcasting media experience, do you think the change as a consumer you started to notice or experience is because they started treating their product as if it's content for social media? Because nowadays content is king. You can watch it on TV, you can listen to the radio all you want, but the quickest access to get to you, the consumer, is through your phone via social media.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree, because you have to keep up with the times, of course. And to the extent, how many people, millennials right now, have a cable package? Not many.
I dropped mine years ago.
Exactly. So you have to get with the times. And even the NBA, I believe Adam Silver said it, where he said that this is a highlight league. And yeah, especially now that they've made watching NBA games a little bit harder because everything's behind a paywall now. It is a highlight league. Well, at this point, people are just going to wait for the game to be over and go to NBA's YouTube channel and just watch all the highlights. And it takes away from of course, we grew up in an era where you could just watch the local game for free without having cable. And then if you had cable, you could watch more games and things like that. You could follow teams and players and you could understand more of the game. Now, if you're only watching highlights, you're not really understanding the game. You're not understanding the back and forth. You can sit there and be like, oh, well, this team won 122 to like 115, but you wouldn't really understand the pace and flow of the game and how it got to that point because, oh, well, it was a tight game. Nah, not really, because by the time they got to 8 minutes left in the fourth, they sat all their starters and it was just backups for the rest of the game. And that's why it got tight. Like, if you're just looking at box score and just highlights, you're not going to really appreciate the game and understand. Even if you're not someone that's played the game at a high level, you can get an understanding of it better when you're actually watching it and not just watching highlights.
Okay. I want to switch gears and focus back on Stephen A. Smith, if you'll allow it, because I do like this. I do like your dissertation about ESPN and what you would like to see improve. But moving forward, Stephen A. Smith, he is, I think,
problematic,
trying to expand his audience. And that audience, a portion of it is in politics. In sports and politics, they're not so far away from each other. And at times they do intersect.
Even the sports and politics have always been intertwined. Mm-hmm. And the idea that it's not is wild, because we have that whole crowd that were against, keep politics out my sports. I don't want all this race baiting and da-da-da. But it's like, the reason why you have the product, like for the NFL, when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing was happening, the reason why you currently have the product that's in front of you is because of those during the civil rights era that were still fighting for a place. You think you would still be watching all these teams if it wasn't filled with us?
I remember that one baseball player, I'm forgetting his name at the moment, but he expressed how Jackie
Robinson,
his racist experience. Now, it was a Jackie Robinson day, if I'm not mistaken, but it was like an older baseball player. He was being recognized, and one of the broadcasting members, one of the panelists, just said, "Hey, looking back at your career, was it worth it?" And he was pretty much like, "Hell no! I experienced so much racism. You don't know what that does to a man."
Yeah, because at that point, how many people truly understand what they went through? Like, he said it. He was like, no, I had to stay in different hotel rooms for my team. People hated me. People tried to harm me when I was in cities. Like it was tough. Tough is the biggest understatement. But yeah, like it was not easy for these people.
Absolutely.
Our people.
I had to write this one down because this topic can stretch out to so many ways, but I had to write down my thoughts on this one. So regarding Stephen A. Smith, this is my introduction to it. In my opinion, Stephen A. Smith at times demonstrates that he's not ready to dip into politics, or have nuanced cultural conversations. And for me, it's when he was talking about Jasmine Crockett. And how he got a bunch of flack for it. Now, he recently did an apology for it, but before he did an apology, he did double down on what he was saying. But I do want to play the part that had folks pissed off at him.
Okay. How Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done, as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him, since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple.
All right, we heard the soundbite about him critiquing Jasmine Crockett. Nick, I want to get your reaction before I say my piece.
I mean, my first visceral reaction was immediately, who you think you're talking about? For one, if y'all didn't know,
we in Dallas. Well, I'm in Jacksonville. He in Dallas.
From here. So you don't talk about us like that. For one, we stand Jasmine Crockett out here. We do, but for you to have the audacity, for you to think that forehead, any mouth attached to that forehead has the ability to say anything negative about our lovely Jasmine Crockett, the audacity, the pure unmitigated gall for this, and I have a huge cranium for a forehead. I know, and for him to have the pure gall, like look at this man, look at this. Look.
Share the screen real quick, bro. Share the screen.
Oh my gosh, like, bro,
share the screen.
Like this man just, he makes that part of the back part of my eye itch.
His hairline is a whole salute. My boy hairline up here. Yes, sir.
That boy. Woo, just let it go. That boy, he don't even got the in his head. But my brother. Whew. You don't even have the little, like, what the barber just wasted his time trying to do his edges at this point. Like, where are we going with this? See, I need the John Madden little highlighter pen to go down with this one. And here we are, guys. I think the barber thought he was executing a 90-degree angle, but we see it's more obtuse than it is acute. We don't see the point here, but at this point, I don't see the point of keeping his hair. The man should just go ahead and go bald. But yeah, for the audacity for this man.
Go ahead and take that trip to Turkey, my boy.
What's funny is when I was Googling it, Stephen A. Smith goes to Turkey was part of the, was part of the Google search. But no, for one, how dare he have that to say about her, as she is a proper representation of our community and she puts in the work. She is more qualified to speak on these subjects than he is by a wide margin. But that goes back to his motif. He seems to have a big thing about trying to put confident, strong, and powerful black women in their place. He comes from, I don't know that man personally, but based upon how he has this vitriol for strong, powerful women, like the whole Serena Williams conversation he had about how she got a husband now and she shouldn't be doing this, and how he did. And as a man that's never been married, has all this to say about what a married couple should do. Said the same thing about Aisha Curry when she had some things to say about the refereeing in I think it was a playoff game, and trying to pit her against Savannah James, talking about, look at Savannah James, she doesn't do all this and that, and it don't, like, you don't put
that's problematic too, in my opinion.
Exactly,
that's hella problematic. But let me put a note on that. Let me write that down real quick, because we can expand on that real quick. I mean, later on.
Because that is wild to use that. Like, you don't have to pit black women against each other to make a point. If you feel, because for one, she's not playing. Like, it was a play. It was her actions stemmed from what happened in a game. Why aren't you talking about the game? This is a sports talk show. Why aren't you talking about the game? There's so many instances like that. And then also, I'm sorry, but like his current little, this is his second tour going on about how much he doesn't like LeBron. Like, bro, he's about to turn into Skip Bayless, where you have to talk. He's going to, and I'll save this for later, but I have a whole thing about old head Jordan fans. They are some of the worst oh my goodness, I hate talking sports with old head Jordan fans. They treat this man like he is just, I don't know, because it's like, wow, I'm a LeBron fan. I think he's the GOAT, but I think he's the GOAT for valid reasons, in my opinion. It's not all just because, of course, that's the best player I watched. I grew up with Kobe, LeBron, Tim Duncan, KG, AI. LeBron's the best one I've seen out of all of them. And I've seen him do it over, now it's about to be 23 years once he starts in probably November and all that. But something about Jordan fans, the fact that they have to make sure everyone knows, no, he's the GOAT. No, he's the GOAT. Anyone that says he's not doesn't know basketball. It's like, there are valid critiques of him that can poke holes in that armor, and it's all nostalgia based. That's why you love him. But yeah, I'm sorry I interrupt you.
No, man, you're good. You're good. I suggest you make that into like a mini pod. That'd be great content. That'd be great content.
I've got some takes about Jordan, but we'll save that for a different day.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. My thing about Stephen A. Smith with this whole critique, or he posed it as a question towards Jasmine Crockett. I had to write this one down too.
Put the voice filter on when you quote it.
I don't think he took into account how Trump has been attacking this woman, and Jasmine Crockett has been antagonized from every corner. We have women calling her ghetto black bitch, Laura Loomer. We got people saying that she is a fake person. She portrays herself as someone who she's not, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We got someone calling her a person with a low IQ, Donald Trump. And the last thing that we need is someone from our side of the spectrum, our side of the culture, to point the finger at her and say, you're not doing anything to try and help your constituents. And the problem I'm having is that he's not seeing what she is doing. She is, from my perspective, fighting for her constituents. She represents my family who are living in Dallas. So shout out to Jasmine Crockett, because I need an elected official who is not going to capitulate to fascism, to right-wing authoritarianism, to white Christian nationalism, to people like Stephen Miller. I don't need a politician who's going to be doing something like that. And it's a good thing that Stephen A. Smith is not an elected official himself, despite the times that he has teased the idea of running for, you know, the White House, running for president, because that tells me that he would drop to one knee, capitulate, and see how he could negotiate with fascism. I don't need someone who is going to negotiate with racism. Racism is a non-negotiable.
I got something better for you, because it goes back to, because I love the fact that you, as someone that doesn't regularly consume his type of media or sports media, and that came to that same conclusion that we on the sports side have been talking about for a while. Shout out to Legend of Winning Low, because he made a good video about it, how Stephen A. Smith and Shaq and a lot of other ones are some of the biggest voices that blatantly show that they don't even really study or watch the product that they have such huge opinions about, that sways people's opinions about it. Like, if you watch Shaq, he will have strong opinions about players, but will openly admit that he does not watch them. Which, granted, he's a busy businessman. I do not expect him to sit there and watch every single basketball game, but he has a voice that dissuades public opinion, because guess what? People hold older players to a very high regard. They're like, oh, well, they played, so obviously I should listen to them. They have that type of influence, and he just lets off incendiary remarks sometimes, and it won't even be accurate, and it'll be like, oh, well, people gonna treat it as gospel because Shaq said it. Stephen A. Smith has been shown to not even watch games. He got filmed at, I think it was in the playoffs last year or in the finals, where he was just sitting there on his phone playing a game and not watching the game as it was going.
And that's your job.
It is y'all's job to comment on this and consume it and give, I can't say unbiased, because obviously you have to objective enough opinions that are actually backed by true research and opinions. That's why I appreciate some of the people on FS1, like the Nick Wrights, Kevin Wilds. I love them on First Things First. Chris Broussard, a legacy, straight, amazing sportscaster and sports journalist for his time, and actor. You gotta give him his credit. But you feel that even though that they have their own narratives that they want to put out there, it's genuine in the interaction. You don't get that from Stephen A. and them anymore, and it's disingenuous, because like you said, you can tell he's not even listening to her, but has such a strong opinion about her. Because you wouldn't have that opinion that he said if you actually listened to her.
I was talking to my mother about this not so long ago, and from her perspective, the way I keep wanting to say Stephen F. Austin, the way Stephen A. Smith was offering her question / critique of Jasmine Crockett, the way he displayed it, according to my mother, was as if you are comparing her to the loud black woman.
That's what I was trying to say. It was coded with that language of saying they're kind of ghetto. That type of language.
And what's crazy is that people within our community find themselves to agree. And I am baffled at the level of easiness to give into respectability politics. Because I don't see a portion of Jasmine Crockett trying to be someone who she's not.
Yeah.
The woman represents Dallas, Texas. If anything, that's a taste of Dallas, Texas, right there in your legislature. I see no issue with
Jasmine Crockett.
Boom, there you go. An educated, well qualified woman.
I would not be mad if you told me if a representative of a woman from Dallas would be Jasmine Crockett. I'd be like, yeah, perfect example.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely. I mean, she can serve as a lawyer in 2 states, and she can serve federally as well.
She has
She doesn't have to be a
impact.
lawmaker. She doesn't have to be a lawmaker.
She has community impact within her community. She is actually out here in the streets. You will actually see her out here trying to grant resources to people. She will actually be out there with the people. That's far removed from those that have strong critiques of her, or what they're willing to do.
I also have another interesting take about Stephen A. Smith. You don't mind if I go on
Go
this
ahead.
slight little soapbox? Stephen A. Smith is, I think, safe to say, a ultra black capitalist. He has no problem making more money. As a matter of fact, that's what he wants to do. And when it comes to capitalism, there is an intersection with the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to write this one down as well. So black capitalists intersect with patriarchy. Smith doesn't understand, or he has yet to comprehend, how his statement towards Crockett is misogynist. I heard this one statement from someone on the radio where they said misogyny and racism are too close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, in his apology, which we'll play in a bit, Smith says, I believed in Kamala Harris, running for governor. I support Michelle Obama. I have no problem with Crockett. And saying something like that is almost equivalent to saying, I'm not racist. I have black friends. I'm not a misogynist. I support Michelle Obama. I like women. I think Kamala Harris should run for governor. And you see how it's kind of close, when I draw it out like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he has the understanding of what he's dipping into right now, because Stephen A. Smith is testing the waters to see if he can reach out to right-wing viewers. He is noticing how these super corporations, media corporations, are leaning towards the right. You're seeing how there's new leadership with CBS. You're seeing how Tegna, the company that I used to work with, just got bought out by Nexstar, a right-wing company, pretty much based off of his leadership. They're appealing to Trump and whatnot. And this might sound like a stretch of a hot take, but this is Smith's chance to reach into the barrel to market to whoever he can, because he's seeing that's what large media corporations are doing right now. Hence why he's a ultra black capitalist. Mm-hmm. He's trying to make his money wherever he can. And for some reason, I guess he thinks that there is some money to be made on the right because he identifies as an independent. And so, he wants to reserve some criticism for the Democratic Party, but at the same time, that same criticism is going to grab the attention from right-wing viewers.
Gotcha. Because I agree. I'm always iffy with these types of people, mainly because it's hard for me to allow them to feign ignorance, because you don't make it this far being unintelligent. You don't make it this far without being calculated, which I find ironic, because he recently went on multiple platforms and stated how he can't stand LeBron James because he's too calculated, which Nick Wright made a great point. Like, yeah, and Colin Cowherd said it very well. When you have a brand to protect, yeah, you are calculated. There's a lot of athletes out there that wish they were more calculated. Like Tiger Woods, I bet he wished he was way more calculated with how he went about things.
Tiger.
Like, so trying to discredit a man whose worst thing in life is that he made y'all think that he was going to retire because y'all are too dumb to realize that it would obviously be an ad and he would not be announcing his retirement as the second decision. Like, if anything, it would be considered the final decision or something like that. Like, let's be honest. And there's other athletes that have used their ability to draw a crowd based upon their gravity for monetization to make money. Like, that's not an issue. It's only an issue with him. And I've never understood. I can go into that to a different one. This is an athlete that has had no real public snafus. Like, nothing bad to really report about this man. Maybe, oh, you think he's corny. You think he's quote unquote fake. Okay, that's the worst you got to say about this man. And y'all try to find issue with that. And that's crazy to me. But to go back to Stephen A., the whole thing about him, like I said, not understanding how he's being misogynistic, I find it hard to believe. I think they are either super intentional with it or they do it to appease to a certain crowd. Because you can go back to some of his comments back in 2014 regarding the Ray Rice situation, where he basically had commented that women should be mindful of how they might provoke their partners.
You want to tap into the Aisha versus Savannah thing, or do you want to play the apology real quick?
You can play the apology, and I'll get his comments on Aisha Curry.
All right, here's the apology.
I wanted to take a moment because I saw something disturbing in regards to President Donald Trump and how he came at Representative Jasmine Crockett. And I wanted to take this opportunity to attack this issue as it pertained to me and Jasmine Crockett, because I personally have had an issue with how things have been misconstrued and misinterpreted. But at the end of the day, I have to own it. And that's what I'm going to do today. And so when somebody says to me, Stephen, rather than point to her and her verbiage and her language and how she talked about the president, what about how he talks? I have no problem with that. I can understand that. And if that is the reason that everybody is in an uproar, that is fine. And I have no problem apologizing to that to my sister because, damn it, I want her to know I don't feel that way about her. Just like I didn't feel that way about Kamala Harris. Just like I don't feel that way about the marvelous, the wonderful, the incomparable, the greatest first lady ever, and Michelle Obama, in my estimation, or anybody else. But what we're going to do on this show is understand who the hell I am.
Okay.
And how it's going to be as long as I'm doing this show. I have no problem apologizing if I'm wrong. I have no problem apologizing if I've made somebody feel a certain kind of way. But I'm going to challenge the legitimacy of what people come at me with when I think that challenge is warranted and deserved. If you came to me and you said to me that it came across as a bit dismissive, Stephen, you should have been more protective of her than that because look at how he speaks. Look at how they act on Capitol Hill towards her. I understand that. But when somebody tries to take that to accuse me of being disrespectful or in any way misogynistic, I'm going to push back on that because that's emphatically false. There's no truth to that whatsoever, and I'm not accepting that, and I'm not owning that. I can sit up there and I can look at Representative Jasmine Crockett. Do you know what I think she should be doing? I think she should be competing for the Senate seat in Texas or for the Attorney General spot because she's qualified. I personally think Kamala Harris should have ran for governor of California. I've said it for the record that if Michelle Obama was running for president, she would have beat Trump, in my opinion. I think she'd have done it. That's how I feel. But somehow, some way, it's never enough for some people out there. I understand. I would advise you to get over it or buckle up because I'm not going away.
There's your watered down apology.
Wouldn't even call that an apology.
Barely an apology. I mean, he does say he apologized. He does say it. I didn't want to play the whole thing though, but he does say it. Before we tap into the Aisha versus Savannah thing, one thing I do want to propose to viewers and listeners, I want to ask you this: what has Stephen A. Smith done? What has he demonstrated to you that he is worthy of your time to absorb his political takes? Because when I look at Stephen A. Smith, he's an expert when it comes to sports journalism. If you need to know anything pertaining to broadcast media, getting the attention, getting the views, or how to improve your demo reel, or if you want to understand the foundations of sports journalism, I think Stephen A. Smith is your go-to person. If you want to know how to improve your presence in front of the camera, I think Stephen A. Smith is the perfect person, one of the perfect people to go to, for that type of information. If you want to learn from such an expert, Stephen A. Smith has not proven himself that you, the listener, you, the viewer, he is not worthy of your time to absorb his political takes. And just because he has the platform doesn't mean it has to be absorbed. That's where I draw the line when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to sound like a shut up and dribble kind of guy. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you're good at talking sports, my man.
I wouldn't say it's not shut up and dribble. It's more of a, like how Drake says, Metro, shut up and play some drums, whatever. It's more
Metro,
of that type beat.
Shut your whole ass up and cook some drums, nigga.
Yeah, I would say it's more of that type beat than a shut up and dribble type situation.
Mm-hmm. But that's my deal with Stephen A. Smith. I don't think he has not demonstrated to me that he has the capabilities. I'm not saying he won't ever, but as of now, during this time of politics and what we're going through, when we are at the verge of possibly losing more rights, more than ever. For example, the Voting Rights Act is on the verge of being executed by the Supreme Court, and we could possibly lose more black political power. The members of the Black Caucus are at the verge of being disbanded if there are any seats left for us to have political power. And if he's not going to recognize or acknowledge any of that, but just worry about how someone is addressing the president, who, mind you, is entertaining right-wing authoritarianism, who is entertaining Christian fascism, who is 48% done with Project 2025, we have a problem. We have a problem.
Houston, you have a problem.
Literally. When you have people who are entertaining the thought of bringing slavery back, I don't see Stephen A. Smith talking about that. I don't see Stephen A. Smith talking about how white nationalists are getting comfortable right now. And that one phrase about the frog in the hot water, that's exactly what's happening right now. I recently saw a video of a white nationalist trying to normalize slavery again to his listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're doing everything they can.
So let's paint the picture. Let's paint a picture. This administration, 48% complete on Project 2025. We have an oligarchy running the White House, where we have millionaires and billionaires doing what they can, benefiting off of a kleptocracy at this point as well. So we have someone who's in the WWE running education. We have someone who used to be a reality TV contestant running the Department of Transportation. Let's make it make sense, okay? So not only that, we have people like Peter Thiel trying to infiltrate our democracy and systems through J.D. Vance. Okay.
We have a podcaster as the FBI director,
who wanted to get the Epstein list out and has yet to put it out right now.
The FBI can release it at the time. Sir, you're the director of the FBI.
Entertaining conspiracy theories. Like,
What was that?
But
And
they
so-
have enough time to bust the NBA's quote unquote gambling rink and all that.
yeah, that
Y'all
Epstein
just so
list
happen-
must be something serious.
Y'all got enough time to
Yeah.
go after one of the most black dominated sports and one of its bigger cultural representations, but you ain't got enough time to release a list. Okay.
Mhm. And Stephen A. Smith, well, not so long ago, was out here saying Trump is coming after us. And then here comes Kash Patel. See you in Valhalla, brother. Hold on.
I'll see you in Valhalla, brother.
Fuck out of here.
Who is this guy?
Whose man's is this?
Who told this man to cook?
Whose man's is this? Anyway, then you got someone who has white supremacist tattoos on his body, and he's running the Department of War now. It's not defense. Okay.
Why are you asking questions? There's no such thing as a king here. Right?
He don't want
This
you in
is
the
how it's
mili-
supposed to be.
He don't want you in the military.
Hurts.
If you got facial hair, he wants you out, bro. Okay.
You
They
couldn't
don't
be
want-
in the military right now.
They don't want you in trade. They don't want you in the military. They don't want you. They rounding up immigrants.
They want you to be subservient to them, but live a menial life to where you have to work for them, but not complain about it.
They trying to execute the Voting Rights Act. They're trying to take away political power. Then you got people trying to normalize the thought of bringing back slavery. Do we not see the sign that's in front of us? Do we not see people who are entertaining white supremacy, authoritarianism, fascism?
Get out
This
and
is-
vote November 3rd.
This is, but you want to talk about, Jasmine Crockett. That's your biggest issue. Your priorities are not straight, and you need to log off from the internet. And actually, do you know your mayor? Do you know your state representative? Who represents you? Did you wait?
A lot.
Bigger question: did you vote?
I want you to know a lot of their priorities aren't straight.
Get it together. Y'all weird. You
Being
weird.
real weird over there.
For real, man. Sheesh.
Some weirdos over here, man.
Speaking of weirdos, one thing I do find weird is how folks try to pit Aisha Curry and Savannah James. And it's something that I've seen multiple times. Stephen A has done it. I've recently seen the comparisons after Aisha Curry, was on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Her Instagram is on fire right now in terms of the comment section. But while
Just
you were
shows
looking,
people don't listen.
yeah. So I watched the whole damn thing too, which was
She
nothing.
didn't say
well.
anything bad.
She didn't say anything bad. But when it came to this discussion between Aisha and Savannah, what did you look up?
Let me share my screen. It sounds like I'm at work. So from NBC Bay Area back in 2016, right, for June 17, 2016. So that's probably fresh off of, if not the finals, it's either right before the finals.
Mm-hmm.
The day after all the buzz, the controversial tweets by Steph Curry's wife Aisha, it was time for the pundits to inevitably weigh in. And right off the bat, ESPN pundit Stephen A. Smith had some choice words of advice for the reigning MVP's spouse on how an NBA wife should behave. Oh, wow. That's back when Steph won that MVP. That's wild. She stepped out of line. She stepped out of pocket. Wait, actually, let me get my Stephen A. voice.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hold on. Wait. Before you do it. All right. Get your Stephen A. Smith on, bro.
All right. I've got to say, I've lost all respect. Sorry. This is, wait, I'm reading the right part. I'm reading the wrong part. She stepped out of line. She stepped out of pocket, Smith said on ESPN's First Take in reference to Curry's since deleted tweet after Game 6 of the NBA Finals between Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers. I've lost all respects. Sorry, this is absolutely rigged for money. This is Ayesha Curry's tweet.
I remember that.
Rigged for money or ratings. I'm not sure which. I won't be silent. Just saw it live. Sorry. Curry posted a tweet that was deleted minutes after. She later tweeted that her comments were in the heat of the moment and followed up with, police racial profiled my father and told him to remove credentials and tried to arrest him. It's been a long night for me. I apologize. Not surprisingly, this was a hot topic on ESPN's First Take Talk show where Smith and fellow sports reporter Skip Bayless back in the good old days debate sports topics of the day. Debate is a very loose term nowadays. I'm trying to sound as appropriate as I possibly can. You are the wife of Steph Curry. What you do is a reflection on him. What you do is a reflection on the organization he works for. You have to be mindful of that. You can't get caught up in your own individual emotions and having this zest to speak out to the point to where it compromises your husband, Smith said. Some would argue Smith is towing a fine line. Others might say he clearly crossed it by attempting to tell Curry what her proper place is as an NBA wife. And apparently, it's a place where her individual emotions and zest to speak out don't exist. Smith went on to make comparisons to LeBron James' wife and offered some of the finer points of how to be a well-behaved NBA wife of a superstar. If that was Savannah, LeBron's wife, if that were Gloria, LeBron's mother, what would we be saying? Smith pondered. As beautiful as everyone wants to say Ayesha Curry is, and she is, Savannah is something special. Respectfully. Respectfully, I'm here to tell you something right now. Ain't a man alive, particularly a black man, that's going to look at LeBron James' wife and not say, that woman ain't gorgeous. She's wonderful inside and out. Pause. Don't you ever in your life think you could ever say that about a man's wife. Don't ever say that about a man's wife.
What is wrong with you, Stephen A. Smith, bro?
Wait. She sits there. She doesn't bring any attention to herself. She never tweets and goes out there and calls out the league and stuff like that. And nobody is more scrutinized than her husband. But yet she thinks about how she represents him, and as a result, she doesn't do that. Curry shot back with a tweet of her own to Smith saying, why are you putting two women against each other like that? You're the one that's out of pocket. And that is one of the greater points we are trying to make. That man decided to pit two black women against each other. Two that don't even have any reason to go up against each other for no reason. Like, keep it about sports. This is the NBA Finals. For those who do not know, the 2016 NBA Finals is one of the greatest finals of all time, if not the greatest. And y'all, they chose to talk about this in the midst of that. But anyway, yeah, that's his spiel.
Okay, well, here's my spiel. When I see people compare Ayesha Curry to Savannah James, one, it's misogynistic. And the reason why I say that is because, number two, you are displaying Savannah James as the woman who is seen but not heard. You're placing Savannah James as the woman who knows her place. And it sounds like, based off of that quote, that article that you were reading, bro, what was it that Stephen A. Smith said? It's not your place?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
You are the wife of Steph Curry. What you do is a reflection on him. What you do is a reflection of the organization he works for. You have to be mindful of that. You can't get caught up in your own individual emotions and having this zest to speak out to the point to where it compromises your husband.
Which goes back to my point of him being a black capitalist, and capitalism intersects with patriarchy, and he just doesn't see, it doesn't sound like back then nor now does he comprehend how his words come off as misogynistic.
And I brought this back up because if you look at the last two paragraphs, it goes further into more of his misogyny. It's worth noting that Smith isn't immune to making controversial remarks, particularly when it comes to women. 2 years ago, he was suspended by ESPN for comments he made on air related to the Ray Rice case, in which he seemed to imply that women bear some responsibility for provoking domestic violence. Last year, Smith also had to apologize for sexist comments involving the women's German soccer team during the World Cup. Reacting to highlights of a free kick goal against the German team, Smith said they might not have wanted to mess their hair up. To quote Stephen A. Smith himself, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose.
Damn, dude, you might as well just be Howard Stern and call him, who was it? Might as well call him Don Imus. Nappy-headed hoes. God dang, Steven? What the hell, man?
I remember that day on ESPN. Whoa, they took Don Imus through the ringer. My goodness, and well deserved because that man is a terrible person.
Is he still alive?
I don't care.
Real quick, what you sipping on, bro?
Green tea, because your boy is sick.
What's going on?
Words. It's allergy season.
Excuse me. Okay. Hey, did you know? Oh, he dead, bro. He died in 2019.
You'd have to say it like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What was that?
Oh, Don Imus.
Yeah, Don Imus. Yeah, he's not
Boy,
coming
did you
back.
see what he looked like back in the day?
I just exited out. out the
Boy,
screen.
look at this man.
You want to share the screen again?
Yeah, look at this man. Like, this man always just looked like a foot.
Hey, click on that second picture right there. That's crazy. This is so
crazy.
Y'all gonna let him call? Hey, brothers, y'all gonna let this man call black women nappy-headed hoes?
Is that a Texas flag here? No, don't tell
That's
me.
Tommy
he's from
Hilfiger,
Texas.
bro.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't know. That's crazy. This dude calling
don't
black
tell me he's
women
from
nappy-headed
Texas.
hoes? That's crazy.
That is wild. He's a look
I
at
can't
these
take you
curls.
serious.
He's a look at these curls.
My boy was rocking a whole perm.
Early life, Don Imus. Where is he from? Okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah,
he ain't from Texas.
he was definitely a shock jock. He was definitely a shock jock.
Terrible person. Just like what's it called? The one that no one was sad, but don't worry about it. We can't talk about dead conservatives. Nope. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wembenyama is a freak of nature.
Sent him to the
That
temple
was tough
to
to-
hang out with Ra's al Ghul.
Bro, that was tough to watch. And it's even tougher to know that he's not going anywhere. Buddy ain't even 21 yet.
Yeah,
We gotta see that man in the Olympics.
we need another great white hope.
That's what Cooper Flag's supposed to be.
Come on, Cooper.
Come on, Coop, fight back. Fight
We
back.
We niggas need a new great white hope. Cooper Flag. Us niggas need a great white hope.
Bro, I was sitting
What are you
out there
doing? Fight back.
During the first half, I was screaming at my TV. I was like, if you don't go to the get paid, like, just drive. And then he came out super aggressive just to score 10 points. But, you know, we're going to see. Are we playing tonight?
This is his freshman game. This is his freshman season. This is freshman
I
season.
don't
We'll be
care.
all right.
Be great. You replacing the one that we thought was
There's a
going
lot
to
of
be our
expectations on you, bro. There's a lot of expectations.
You're replacing someone that's currently playing. We're losing to Washington right now, bro. We trash.
Season's just beginning. Season's just beginning. We'll be all right. So,
Okay.
I feel good. I feel good on where we at to end it. But do you have any last words?
LeBron's a GOAT. If you don't think he's a GOAT, that's your problem, and you don't know ball. You have to give me legitimate reasons as to how he's not the GOAT. And it has to be more than, oh, he doesn't have 6 rings. Well, guess what? There are other people that have 6 rings. There's people that have more rings. So you can't use ring culture. It's also a team accomplishment. But yes, LeBron's a GOAT. If you're a Jordan fan, you just only love him because of nostalgia. Jordan's not number 1 in any category.
Are
He
we
doesn't
done
have the
with
most
the
rings.
90s?
He doesn't have the most. We're done with the 90s. Jordan doesn't have the most rings. He doesn't have the most points all time, even though he's supposedly the greatest scorer of all time. He doesn't have the most points all time. Doesn't have the most anything. He's not first in any of the major categories. So what was he really great at? Kobe was. You know what? Y'all really gonna hate me. Kobe was better than Jordan.
That's
If
definitely
Kobe
a
and
hot
Jordan
take.
played, no, it's
Yeah.
not. If Kobe and Jordan played 1-on-1, Kobe would take his lunch money, because Jordan had no one that he was going against back then that could defend like Kobe.
I need you to make a mini pod of this, please. Please make a mini pod of this.
We can do that.
Go on a 30-minute rant about this, please.
Oh, I will,
I'm good.
'cause
I'm good to leave it off where we're at right now. So,
I'm good too.
thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 15 of the Porchlight Theory. Thank you so much for just taking the time out to listen to us. Again, share, subscribe, review, tell your friends about us. I'm glad that folks are just taking the time out to just listen to us, whether if it's the clips that we post on social media or the actual full episodes that you can get on YouTube, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. So thank you so much, guys. This was episode 15. We're gonna get 16. 16. We'll get 16 to you in a minute.
You know what
but
16 is going to be about?
What's up?
How Drake losing saved hip hop.
Do we have to talk about Drake again, bro? Golly. I hope we find a better topic.
I hope so too. I hope
we
he
find a better
loses
topic.
again before. You know what? I hope the Dodgers win so that way LA can have another win over Canada.
All right. To all the Drake haters,
To all the OV hoes.
have the day you deserve.
Oh, this is his birthday too.
It is.
Yeah.
To all the Drake lovers, have the day you deserve as well.
I hope it is the worst day ever.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Tired of talking about Drake. All right.
He's tired of being talked about. That's why he tried to sue.
And he lost. It's all good though.
I want some crab legs.
Just go back to the studio and just keep making music, bro. Come on. All right. Episode 16 is on the way, y'all. Peace
We
out.
out.